Where we are right now is a place that if you're born and raised on Staten Island, then you might recognize as the new Springville Greenway. So just as a bit of background, for those of you who aren't familiar, the new Springville Greenway is a 3.2-mile multi-use running, walking, and biking track that was built in 2015. It runs from Signs Road over in the Travis neighborhood to roughly the Eltingville train station, though the bulk of it runs along Richmond Avenue, which is where we are right now. And so if you look to the west, you'll see Fresh Coast Park. And if you look to the east of where we are right now, you'll see the marshlands. Going further than that, beyond where the eye can see right now, is LaTourette Park and the Greenbelt. And so you can basically think of the new Springville Greenway as a relatively short bike path that connects two of the biggest parks on Staten Island, the Greenbelt and Fresh Coast Park. And so it really is this terrific space that right now is underutilized. At this other multi-use path, which is the LaTourette Park walking, biking, and running path. It's more clear in the summer when the trees around us are fuller and when the sounds of the street behind us are more muffled by all the foliage. But stepping into LaTourette Park over here is almost like stepping into another world. You leave, especially in the summer, you leave all the sounds of the street behind, and suddenly you're surrounded by these grasses and by this nature that can reach sometimes over your head. And now when I say over your head, I'm really talking about myself, but I'm 5'9". And so when you're suddenly walking into a space in Staten Island, when you have these grasses that can reach over my head, and you're just less than a few feet from the street, but it doesn't feel like that, it's really another world. That's the beauty of these spaces. And that's the beauty of what we're asking for easier access to. And we're asking for the Parks Department and the DOT to take seriously.
What do we want?
A safe crossing!
What do we want?
A safe crossing!
What do we want?
A safe crossing!
Where do we want the safer crossing?
New Springville Greenway!
And when do we want it?
Now!
And when do we want it?
Now!
When do we want a safer crossing for the new Springville Greenway?
Now!
All right. As you can see, I have to speak pretty loudly here over the noise of the cars going by because it is a very busy intersection. However, it's not just a busy intersection right here. It's also a greenway that runs along Richmond Avenue, crosses here, and runs along this beautiful parkway that we just got. And now, pedestrians, cyclists, and runners who use this greenway, we deserve a safe crossing. Years ago, when I first found out that the DOT was going to add in a greenway right along the edge of Fresh Coast Park, I was excited, not just because it would be a safe place for me and for other runners and cyclists to ride and to run, but also because I believed that any additional space that the DOT creates for us, for pedestrians, for runners, for cyclists, it's a sign that would not be ignored. It's a sign that the city knows that we exist, and they know that we need safe places. And so that's one of the biggest reasons why I was so excited. Only then, when you see an intersection like this in the middle of a beautiful greenway, it's just proof, once again, that our needs are not being acknowledged, that we're still ignored by the city, and that our dignity is being ignored. And so that's what I want the DOT to give us, dignity. I want a dignified place to cross, and I want acknowledgement that the needs of those who are recreational runners and cyclists and simply walkers who simply decide to get around by a means other than cars. I want acknowledgement by the city that we're here, that we matter, and that our safety matters to them. So that's why I put together this rally today, to demand from the city some dignity. And so I hope that today we can make some noise for a safer crossing along this beautiful greenway, and for a safer crossing along New Springville. Thank you. One very simple safety intervention that the DOT can create right now is simply called a leading pedestrian interval. And so that would create a few seconds before cars start turning. Well, you'll create a few seconds before cars start turning from Forest Hill Road, and you'd be dedicated time for pedestrians, cyclists, and runners to cross before they start turning. So that's one thing the DOT can do.
I live in the neighborhood, and I'm all for it. Yeah, we need, now you're saying, a delayed what?
Yeah. So what we're trying to get is a delayed crossing, or a light retiming right over here, so that runners, cyclists, and pedestrians would get a few seconds to cross before cars start turning from Forest Hill Road. Do you support that?
Definitely. I think we should get Senator Lenza, who's our senator, to be alert of this. He's right there above on Eltingville, right across the Eltingville train station. We should do something to write a letter. I'll give you my email.
Well, we actually have a petition right now.
I know they give 25 seconds for this light here, and I'm walking fast, and I just make it when it's zero. By the time I get there, and I'm healthy at 64 years old, it takes me just about 25 seconds. So imagine a person with a cane. They don't have 25 seconds here. Do you know what the clock is running here?
I believe it's about 25 seconds. I believe it's about 25 seconds as well, but that's at the same time as cars are turning. Another thing the DOT could do is to change the crossing along the New Springville Greenway to a safer intersection, like Richmond Avenue and Richmond Hill Road, like Richmond Avenue and Independence Avenue, or there are tons of other safer intersections that the DOT could choose to create this crossing.
Yeah, it's tough to cross the street sometimes. It's like playing chicken with the cars. Especially.
So you're a runner with Kayak?
Yeah, I run with SIAC. I belong to a running team. I train all the time, so I'm here all the time. This is a tough cross over here, so I usually catch it up on the other side, try to come over here and hopefully make it across okay. But thank you guys for being here. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Or even one more idea is to create another. What's your idea, Bob?
Put some islands in that crossing. That crossing is very long and it scares people. If you put some islands, and you could do it strategically, it would cut the appearance of how long it is, and if you try it. But it's so scary to look at that people don't try.
So there are a number of ways that the DOT can make it safer for us to cross right now. But right now, the DOT simply doesn't want to. Why? Because there is not enough of a demand for a safer intersection. Because it takes money. It takes money from the DOT. It takes effort. It takes time. And they simply don't want to do it unless there's a demand for it. And so that's what we're creating today. Just to give us all an idea, or to give you all an idea of how hard it is to cross this intersection safely, we're gonna go back and forth. And so you can see already all these cars turning as we're trying to cross. Now, right now, cars are stopping for us. Well, some are, because we're here in numbers. But when you have only 1 or 2 people trying to cross, the cars don't see us and they don't yield. So it can take 1, 2, up to 3 light cycles on a busy day just for a person to cross safely. And you don't know how many times people have almost gotten hit right here by cars refusing to yield for cyclists, pedestrians, and runners.
Oh, we made it across in 17. That's pretty good.
We all do.
I'm going. Okay, I'm going now. This car has a yield sign. He wants to keep going. He's trying to stop me. And now I have to contend with the cars making a left turn on Forest Hill Road onto Richmond Avenue. There's a whole bunch of cars. They don't seem willing to yield. Crossing my path. Crossing my own risk here. This guy's going right up to me. Made it across. No less than 4 or 5 cars threatening my crossing. That guy in the white car,
Yeah.
I said, I have the right of way. He said, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. The car in front of me was blocking his view. It's a dangerous intersection.
Yeah,
He
and
was-
he's
'cause
probably
they don't-
right on his bumper.
Yeah,
too.
he was trying. Yeah, he was riding his bumper, and the guy in front was trying to make it through before I could get through. So the one in front didn't know I was there.
Yeah.
Okay, I will attempt to cross at the next crossing, at the next walk signal. This is the more difficult path to cross because I have to get, before I'm halfway across, the cars making a left turn from Forest Hill Road are swarming into the intersection. And some are reluctant to slow down. And we have these cars making a right turn who sometimes reluctant. So I'm making it across here. You can see the cars turning from the left. We'll see if they slow down, if they yield for my right of way. This guy is trying to cut me off. Another one. This one's cutting me off. And we had 3 cars trying to cut me off of my right of way at a high rate of speed because this is not a 90-degree intersection. The cars do not have to make a sharp turn. They can go at a high rate of speed, and they are reluctant to stop for anyone in this intersection. Make note, I am wearing a safety vest at this crossing, and the cars still do not yield to an individual wearing a safety vest. There's no problem with visibility today. It's cloudy, partial sun, clear, dry pavement. It's 3:15 in the afternoon. Temperature's about 40 degrees. No problem with visibility today. Time for me to cross. I hope I can get there without too many incidents. This car is yielding, thankfully. Thank you. Now let's see, right turn on red here. They are yielding. It's much safer this time. This is great. Thank you. I think the vest helped.
Yeah.
Okay, time to walk. All right, we have a group of us walking through the intersection across Richmond Avenue, and the problem is here the cars are turning on from Forest Hill Road, making a left at a high rate of speed. We have a breakdown. There's not that many cars making the left, so we're able to cross safely. We have one straggler. She's an older woman. And okay, thank you. You made it across. Congratulations. All right, it's 3:18. 5 of us are crossing. And we do have some drivers obeying our right of way. I think because we're in a group, we're more visible. And we're making it safely across. Yes. Okay, well, you shouldn't have to rush to cross the street. There should be enough time for you to cross. There's still 3 seconds left on the clock. You made it across. So you have just enough time.
What do we want?
A safe crossing.
What do we want?
A safe crossing.
What do we want?
A safe crossing.
A safe crossing. Now. A safe crossing. Now. Woo! Where do we want the safer crossing?
Springville Greenway.
And when do we want it?
Now.
And when do we want it?
Now.
When do we want a safer crossing for the new Springville Greenway?
Now.
All right.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
people
exactly.
come here and
Both would be
it
nice.
looks like it's the end of the
Something
path
would
as they
be
cross
nice.
over here.
All these people doing a right turn, you need an island in there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so you can get across,
Yeah.
and then you're ready to cross. Yeah, and you could cross this thing when you know it's not right turn all the time, so you can cross it.
Yeah. No, I
It's
get an
not that
LPI
bad.
over here, an island over here.
Right
Yeah.
turn on red.